Good evening. A Portobello family of 7 is without a home tonight. Despite the efforts of the local brigade and backup from Dunedin, their house in Haraweka Street was badly damaged by fire. No one was at home at the time, apart from the family's dog, which died in the blaze. The house belongs to Portobello's relieving teacher, who's well known in the town as the operator of a boat hire service. The cause of the fire hasn't yet been established, but the house was insured. A 21-year-old unemployed man appeared in the Dunedin District Court today charged with murder following a stabbing in the city last night. Sean Ian Hermer Gillett was remanded in custody for a week. 41-year-old Brian Edward Fraser was rushed to hospital from a house in Kistorfen Road last night with stab wounds. He died a short time later. Police say Gillett and the dead man knew each other. A knife, believed to be the murder weapon, has been recovered and no one else is being sought in connection with the incident. In the small southland town of Tuatapere, the news that no new native forest will be available for milling has stunned local residents. The town, whose economy is based on milling, took a hard knock when the Forest Service pulled out 2 years ago. Now it's looking at an even bleaker future. Kathy Graham reports.
It's only 100 years since Tuatapere was carved out of the bush. Remnants of the forest which has been milled by generations give the town its beauty and its livelihood. About 80% of its income comes from milling the native Rimu and beach. Alan Johnson's mill employs 35 people. It's one of only 2 left in the town. You've been doing this all your life. How do you feel?
A bit better with the way that this part of New Zealand's being treated with the forestry and now they've closed up Mary Land around there as well.
The town's bitter that there's now only enough native timber to last another 4 or 5 years. That's Alan Johnson's estimate. At the other bigger mill, they're estimating just 2 or 3 years. With 28% of Tuatapere already unemployed, the news that no more timber's available has shocked the town.
Without a resource, there isn't a future. It's that simple.
Suggestions that tourism could provide an income just don't wash with the Work Development Society.
Tourism is not an option for this town. People come here. If they come to look at the birds and the bees, they bring their own cup of tea, they fill their cars in petrol in town, and they come out and they may use the toilet and get their windows cleaned at the local garage, but they in actual fact go to the bush, sleep in the bush in a sleeping bag and go home. They do not spend any money and they will not compensate in any way for the 250 jobs that could be lost here.
There's also bitterness about the beach regeneration scheme, which the town points to proudly as its contribution to conservation. It was started 35 years ago, and some trees would have been ready to cut in a few years. Now it looks unlikely the mills will survive long enough to see that day. Jobs for young people are already hard to find. John Collett's worked here for 9 years, and he doesn't want to leave.
It's a good job. I like it here. Friendly people. You're out of the rat race.
We like it here, and we'll just have to live on the dole like everybody else, I suppose.
We've got 94 people on the dole in this small town of 800 people, and there is no hope of them finding work.
Hard times in Tuatapere. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Otago and Southland, it seems there are a few ripples of optimism. The Regional Development Council reports that, economically speaking, the region is on the mend. Mark Price explains.
Improved prices for farm produce are beginning to flow on into the towns. As we reported last week, Invercargill's noticed an improvement, and the same picture is emerging in Otago towns like Balclutha and Oamaru.
Farms are selling at a higher price. People are getting a better price for their goods that they're producing, and so that does spin off, but it takes a while. And I would be the last person to tell unemployed people what to do, but I believe truly that there will be an improvement.
Exporters are benefiting from better exchange rates, and there are signs that more tourists are about. Retail sales in the South Island were up by 4% in the first quarter of this year. That, according to Regional Development Minister David Butcher, speaking in Wellington today, suggests the economy is on the verge of a period of growth and that growth will be led by the regions.
Dunedin's Mayor, Sir Cliff Skeggs, has a new car, and unlike some of the previous mayoral vehicles, it's been accepted without a public fuss. The blue 500 SEL Mercedes Benz was bought for $70,000 from a wealthy Auckland insurance manager. Carolyn Harper took a test drive with Bob Heath, the Mayor's chauffeur.
The new mayoral car encountered a minor mishap at the beginning of its journey southwards. While delivering the Mercedes to the Auckland container terminal, the driver hit a motorway barrier and damaged the front. However, the Merc's repaired and is in the safe hands of Bob Heath, mayoral chauffeur of 11 years.
One of the features is the electric seating. The seats are moved backwards and forwards on each side of the door here. It's just a little button here, push, and you go back and forward. It's got the headrest you can alter as well, raises the headrest up and down. The other features is the sunroof, which works just by this button here. And we've got the telephone in between the passenger and myself here. We've got the two-way radio telephone here to keep us in contact with the Civic Centre. I've got to say this would be the best one we've had. We've had 4 other mayoral cars, the Austin Princess, the Jaguar and the LTD, but this one would have to be the best.
What do you feel like when you're driving it?
Like a very rich man.
At $70,000, the car is considered the buy of the year. Ratepayers will be happy. If the car is sold after 4 years, the council is sure to get its investment back.
The Winfield Challenge Shield stays in Otago thanks to local midfielder Rod Groves after plenty of soccer action at the Caledonia this afternoon. Groves was the hero as challenger Hawke's Bay was held to a 1-1 draw, scoring the home side's only goal, then saving a certain goal in the dying moments. Ken Nicholson braved the cold to file this report.
Otago took a positive attitude against Hawke's Bay, in essence the National League side Napier City, this being the first league side to challenge for the Shield. And the front-running approach paid dividends when a good through ball from Graham Carr found Groves free. The cross rebounded off Harry Clark, 1-up. Into the second half, Hawke's Bay took the initiative. Roy Steele saving Otago off the line on this occasion. The introduction of Peter Verway added sting to the Otago attack in the second half, but Otago couldn't finish off promising moves to add an extra goal. Former Heart striker Gary Parker was always the biggest danger to the home side. A superb turn and shot, and it's 1-1. If Groves had been the Otago goal scorer, he was also the hero on defence, saving off the line when Cunningham had been beaten. So the challenge was repelled, only just, as Parker was ruled offside and the scoreline finished at 1-1.
Good work. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.